Welcome in, everybody. Episode 35 of your mom's favorite podcast, the Gold Standard College Basketball Show with your boys Big Papa and Bobby Hoops. We're on that blind time. Oh, what are you rocking tonight?
Ooh, just a LaCroix.
Well, I went back and forth, and after I did that whole bit about it's just Waterloo, we're Blumhouse, and I was like, well,
crack the blind. I almost had some brown water. I almost did.
Do you need to go run? Do you need to go run?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Maybe when we're done. But you can't make a nice crack with,
Yeah, it doesn't really hit the same. Just quick plug. Thank you all
to the boys and girls.
For sponsoring the show. Thank you all for listening, especially all the moms who really support us in our venture with the Gold Standard. So couldn't be here without you guys. Hoops, I'm still here. You're a little frozen, but
I lost you for a second there.
We're good now. We're Gucci. Hey, oh no, we're not losing each other again, are we?
I think we are. And now we're good.
Okay, we'll just keep rolling. No?
Yeah.
I'm here. Are you here?
I'm here.
What a start. All right. This is what everybody wanted. Hey, we had the SEC tournament in Nashville a couple days ago. What did you think? What was your takeaway? I mean, Vols made it to the championship game.
Yeah, I mean, I as far as the Vols go, yeah, you want to win that last game for sure. But that's what I hoped. That's what I hope to see. Just that you come out, you win a game or two. I mean, shoot, you beat the number one team in Auburn. That was a great game. Such a fun game to watch. I was really proud of the fellas and the way they stepped up against a team like Auburn that really we should have beat in the regular season down in Auburn. We could have stolen that one and didn't. So felt really good, especially heading into the big dance to know hey, we beat the number one overall seed. We'll have a conversation about Auburn and where they're currently at right now. But I mean, and tough game against Florida. Florida, we'll get into it. There's plenty of arguments being thrown around right now that Florida is hands down the best team in the country right now, heading into the tournament, and looked the part the way they handled Alabama, and Tennessee gave them something to think about there towards the end of the second half and cut that lead down to 5. And it, amidst the foul trouble, I mean, the refs were pretty miserable in that championship game. Safe to say, man. I mean, we had 3 guys foul out, another with 4 foul. I mean, it was just miserable.
That's bad.
But man, Florida, that's the takeaway to me of the whole tournament is Florida is absolutely riding high heading into this weekend and into the coming weekends most likely. But you were there, but you weren't there. You were there for this.
Yeah. I was there for a bachelor party. Shout out Cole Frost. A couple of us got invited. That was honestly, he's just a fellow ball knower. Dude actually played and started varsity basketball here at Powell. So
sharpshooter Cole Frost. I remember those days.
That's true. I don't need to degrade just Cole being a dude, but if you met the guy, you would just be, he's just a dude's dude. So
good dude.
A bunch of us got to go down to Nash Vegas. Saturday, we went down to the Strip at 10:45. Me and 2 other guys, our plan was we're just gonna go chill at Tin Roof. We had no agenda. And mind you, I'm the only Kentucky fan. There was 1 Alabama fan, 1 Georgia, is Candace's brother. So 11 other guys were all Tennessee fans. And in my head, I'm I'm just going to chill at Tin Roof by myself for all I care. I want, I mainly want Cole to get in there. And really, if any of the other guys get a ticket, by all means, great. Get inside.
Go have fun. Yeah.
So I ended up missing all 3 Ubers to get from our Airbnb to Broadway, which it was also horrendous weather came through. It was like tornado watch.
Yeah,
tornado
yeah.
warning. So just barreling down with rain all day. Somehow I managed to, I was supposed to be in the first one, managed to miss all 3. And then I get to ride with my boy Maurice in a minivan by myself. We talked for a collective 1 minute. And then for the 2.5 miles, trip, it was great. Just sat in silence. I loved every second of
You and Maurice, the boy.
So I come to find out Cole, who was in the first car, met a Bush's Beans rep outside of the arena who Bush's Beans, plenty of other companies are there just trying to like promote their stuff.
Shout out Clark Vickery, Bush's
Shout
Beans.
out Clark. Honestly, kind of shocked that
not the rep. Not the rep.
Why didn't you send Clark?
What better rep could there be?
Couldn't agree more. So the gal apparently walked up to Cole and them and said, "Hey, I got a ticket for $50 if somebody wants it." Which they of course immediately like, "Yes, give it to this guy. Bachelor party, blah blah blah." She goes, "Well, I'm really glad I ran into you guys." And she goes on to explain it's 2 rows up from the floor, and he had access to the suite for drinks and food, all the stuff, dude. Yeah, I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. So
good for him, man.
Big Cole got to watch 2 rows from the floor. Big old win over Auburn. He did stick around for the next game till about midway second half. Florida handled Alabama. So we ended up leaving later. But yeah, I sat at Tin Roof from 10:45 to about 4:30. I would have not traded any second of it. So many times I looked around the room, which, have you ever been to Tin Roof? Or
in Nashville? No, I have not.
Okay. Well, gist of it is like, it doesn't really matter if it's Tin Roof, doesn't matter if it's Margaritaville, whatever. There's always live music happening. So at 10:45, there is a live band playing at, full volume on speakers. And anytime I just would look around, there like was a young couple behind us, like holding hands, like they were on a first date. And it at that point was maybe 11:30. And I looked at my buddy Chris and I was like, dude, it was always Tin Roof.
This is March.
Dude, I would not have scripted it any other way. And imagining young couples walking in and looking at each other and thinking, I don't want to be anywhere else on the planet other than right here, holding your hands at Tin Roof.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame them.
Could be the move.
Could be the move.
Could be the move.
Wondering why I'm not going back there with Dee Dee right now. Just hand the kids off to my parents. So, yeah, that was pretty much Nashville. I mean, I did get to see Otega Oweh put Oklahoma to bed once again.
Yeah.
Dude's I'm sure you're Oklahoma. You're doing the how does he keep getting away with this thing again? Second buzzer beater to win the game. Well, a couple seconds before, but game-winning basket at the end of it, and you're just like, I can't believe it. He did it again. So
dude's a dog.
That was great. Second game stunk the high heavens. Alabama ran him out of the gym, and that was pretty much it. So, yeah, I don't really have any other big recaps other than I was just physically there across the street from Bridgestone. So, I think if I'm good there, I'd bet you're good too.
This is a great SEC tournament update. Yeah. I talked a little ball. You talk a little Tin Roof. This is good stuff.
This is exactly what everybody hoped for when they were.
Wait, who else did you see though at the SEC championship? Speaking of bushes.
Oh, yeah. Saw boy Kevin from The Office just posted up outside the glass windows, just chiefing a cig real quick. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Our boy had
like there's nothing that guy needed to do to make me like him any more than I already did. But no, you saying that he's sitting out, chilling up outside Bridgestone, chiefing a cig, burning down a lawn dart.
Yeah. There was
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It was probably like a Bridgestone Arena employee or an SEC rep that was like, hey, you got to go with you got to go with Kevin, so he's not like by himself.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, oh, what's he? Oh, he's got to go take a smoke break real quick. And I'm sure the younger guy who's in the picture's like, oh, okay, great. So he's just hanging out, chilling.
Yeah.
And then I think he quickly went back in the arena to do a quick photo shoot for Bush's Beans, and there it is.
Pretty awesome. Dude does one scene in The Office involving making a mess out of chili. And Bush's Beans is like, you're our guy.
That's the guy.
That's the guy. That's the guy. Shout out Kevin.
Shout out Kevin.
Shout
yeah,
out
other
Bushes.
than that, we all pretty much got to take it all in and then move quickly. I'm sure for a lot of us, we're like, all right, let's just move on to the bracket revealing. I didn't really have many. I don't know. I think in the years past, there's always this big, like, did the committee get it right? Did they miss anything? Did they screw it up big time? And honestly, I didn't really have much of that. Big picture wise, there was really only one I would objectively say.
Yeah.
Now, kudos to North Carolina. They won last night. They beat who was it again? They played
San Diego State by about 40.
Who was in the championship game 2 years ago. Yeah, that was bad. I didn't get to sit down and start watching it until like second half. And at that point, I'd not even 10 minutes. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to bed. This isn't worth staying up for. Yeah. I think from a resume standpoint, I mean, they have one single win for quad one games, and I think it was like 1-12. The other team,
that was the big thing with North Carolina. Yeah, that one quad one win. I mean, and like, if you were really following them closely over the last few weeks and through like the ACC tournament, they were starting to play a little better. Like you could almost see the case to be made, like because they're North Carolina, you kind of maybe you should give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, and they're playing a little better. They were competitive with Duke in the ACC tournament, but man, it still was tough. And what made it all even worse was the reveal that the chairman of the selection committee is UNC's athletic director.
Shocker!
Like, whoa. And he did the whole, hey, whenever we talked about UNC, I stepped out of the room. I wasn't present for that. Cool. Yeah.
Cool. Sure you did, but
I'm sure that made a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things, like there was a lot, there's been a lot to be said the last few days about West Virginia being the team that kind of got screwed by UNC making it in. West Virginia was a team that most people who are, I guess, respected in deciding and picking who should be in this tournament, almost everybody had West Virginia in. Now, they were still a bubble team end of the day, but so that was pretty shocking. I saw the West Virginia governor is like, he probably doing the right thing of so we're gonna sue the National Corrupt Athletic Association, and I think he said in some interview since then, he's like, yeah, I know nothing's gonna happen, but
bro, what are we doing?
We got it's a total, and I don't know, to me, whether it's injustice for West Virginia or North Carolina, how dare that, like, by the time the first game tips tomorrow, nobody's gonna care anymore. Even now, since North Carolina absolutely decimated San Diego State last night, man, I don't really care anymore.
No,
North Carolina might win a couple games.
Yeah, and if they do, then I guess in some way they have an argument to be like, yeah, see, told you we belong. Which, like, whatever, dude. If you get hot, you get hot. I think ultimately, my opinion, you got in because you have multiple national titles beside your name, and you're in a
big brand.
You're in a blue blood category conversation. Like, But I don't know. I mean, I guess other than that, it gave West Virginia the opportunity to realize that their coach was going to be taken away by a fellow program who was also on the bubble. Shout out Indiana. Yikes. So
tough week for West Virginia.
Yeah, you hate to see it. I mean, whatever. I guess Indiana will do that thing where they got a new coach. They'll fire him in 4 years, and then they'll go ask Brad Stevens if he wants to come back. For a 7th time, he'll say no.
Yep. Maybe the 8th time he'll say yes.
Yeah, but I think you mentioned this privately, but like maybe he can't win the big one. I don't know.
I mean, my whole thought on of course, anybody you'd want Brad Stevens. What he did with Butler, he took him to 2
they went back-to-back national championship games.
That's right. And then he, did great things with the Celtics. But like he never won a title anywhere. Acting like he's the savior. I don't know, he's an Indiana guy and yada yada. I think Brad Stevens is just fine being a championship winning general manager now. Maybe that's his calling.
Yeah. I'm imagining our boy Razor being in the burner Discord when you had asked me, like, how are Indiana fans taking this news right now with their new head ball coach? And I'm imagining Razor jumping in the chat and throwing a grenade just to quickly dip off the burner. They says something like, y'all keep begging for Brad Stevens, but can you ever win the big one? And then just get out of there. Because they would all quickly unravel. Like, whoa. So it just... That's Indiana, though. That's just what they do.
Yeah.
Maybe throw a chair across the court. So, other than that, that's pretty much the only teams I think, objectively were like, that was pretty much it. Maybe Boise State should have gotten into. But, yeah, other than that, I think the bracket is pretty solid. Do you just want to highlight a couple regions real quick? We don't even have to spin and go game by game because ultimately, if you are out there and you're listening to this, you still technically have, I don't know how many hours. I'm not going to do the math, but if
about 12 hours to 12, 13, 14 hours.
That's a safe bet. If you are out there listening to this and you want in on a group, there's no money at stake. It's just for kicks and giggles and for bragging rights. The fellows have one. It's just called Gold Standard CBB. Password is roundball. If it's even needed. I've been told several times, like, hey, you don't need a password. I put it on private. Guess it didn't work.
So, whatever. It's on ESPN, right? ESPN's
on the ESPN the ESPN app. Yep. Right. Download it. Hop in the group if you want. If not, no big deal. Like, we're fine.
Whatever. Baby. Just watch some ball.
We're sponsored. We don't need it. No. But yeah, we would love to have you. Just watch. We hope you'll tune in and watch round ball and then maybe have some fun. Make a bracket.
Yeah.
So heading over to the South region, I'll be honest, I did have a few upsets. On my board, at least in the, starting tomorrow, had Creighton beating Loserville right off the bat, 8-9 game. Sorry, bro.
That was one of the easiest. If I could have bet the mortgage on you picking Loserville to lose first round, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Immediately.
I have Loserville winning that one. I think it's going to be really interesting with that first couple games. Should Loserville win tomorrow? Those games are in Rupp-Arena.
Yeah,
in Lexington.
There was that whole bit about them getting snubbed. We should have gotten a 5 or 6 seed, and I'm like, yeah. Instead, you got rewarded to go travel down an hour and some change to Lexington. It's not like you're leaving the state. You essentially get to play a home game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think nothing you're saying is wrong. I do think, trying to be a fair, objective podcaster here for a second.
Fun, okay.
I know it's not fun, but there's plenty of an argument for Loserville to make that they should have been, I don't know, a 6 or a 5, whatever. But
Sure.
I think it's going to be. I'm glad it worked out this way. I think I saw a stat that Loserville is like 4-22 all time in Rupp Arena. That seems like it should be. I think that's right.
Yeah, it
Now,
should be more like 4-100, but
yeah,
I don't.
all those wins, those few wins and a lot of losses were to Kentucky. So
Yeah.
I like, is there going to be a ton of red in Rupp Arena like that? Like, what's that going to look like? That's going to be weird.
I'm kind of back and forth. Like I'm 50-50 on. I wouldn't be surprised if they did get a good contingent to show up because again, it's literally in Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
But also like Louisville fans, I think they're pretty burnt on the last couple of years, especially with Kenny Payne.
I mean, this is their first time in the tournament in like 6 years.
Yeah, since 2019. And I could see a lot of them being like, I'll be there if you win one. Which,
Wow.
then again, it's like, would you even go to the next one? Because
and then you're
probably
playing
playing
Auburn. Yeah.
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 But, our boy, at least I think it's safe to say we're fans of John Fanta. He did a spectacular rant on a different show where he was like, if you're a Louisville fan and you don't show up to the arena, like you're an idiot. Your team is in the tournament for the first time since 2019. You literally live an hour and some change away from the arena. Like, take off, buy a ticket, get in the game, go support your team. So I thought he was totally spot on. I'm like, that entire place should be all red.
Should be.
For any time they show up. But I don't know. Louisville fans just are kind of that way. Sorry, Loserville fans are kind of that way. So anyhow, I flip-flop back and forth on this one. I don't know about you. I picked UC San Diego over Michigan.
I think this is gonna be a year where you and I approach these brackets a little differently. I want to be right as much as possible. I want to try to get it right. But you I want to be right, even if it's at the expense of having fun. Because I don't know. I don't know. You're as I think the listeners will find here soon. You're gonna have some fun with this bracket.
Yeah.
I think this year, God's honest truth, I think this is a chalk year. I think it's top heavy. I think the higher up teams, higher ranked teams are significantly better than the lower seeded teams. And I do think that like it's March Madness. You hope for some big upsets in the madness to happen early on. But to me, some of these the 4-1 seeded teams, I hope they're all I kind of hope it ends up being a little chalky just for the sake of like these teams are really good, and I really want to see the best of the best battle it out at the end. So with that being said, I'm picking Michigan over UC San Diego. There's been a lot that has been said about UC San Diego. It's their I think this is their second year in D1. The analytics love them. If you're just talking this matchup with Michigan, UC San Diego forces a ton of turnovers. Michigan has a turnover problem. Oh boy, this is, a little madness maybe. To me, this comes down to UC San Diego has not played a single power conference team all year long. Which, not that, and that's not me saying that power conference teams are everything. All I know is Michigan starts 2 7-footers. And has some athletic freaks on that team. And I don't think UC San Diego, those, props to you, that great season. I don't, it's going to look a little different when you're trying to guard 2 7-footers, not just one. I think it could be close, but Michigan should win that one.
They should. You're completely right. But again, it's kind of boring if you take Michigan. So,
I know. Listen, Michigan kind of fraudy. Well, we can get into it. I mean, they had the whole like month of February where they won. I think they went like 8-1, 8-2, and had a negative point differential. They're winning by all these buzzer beaters, and they won the Big Ten championship on a buzzer beater.
Yeah,
it's like, how long does that last? But just in regards to UC San Diego, I'm picking Michigan.
That's fair. The only other, if you want to even call it an upset, 7-10, I'm kind of like, a little bit of enough.
Man.
I picked New Mexico over Marquette.
I did too.
Okay. At least we've got something.
I think there's like a growing trend of the Mountain West Conference don't pick them. Every year there's a lot of buzz, a lot of maybe New Mexico, maybe Northern Colorado, maybe, and then they all disappoint. I mean, just last year, I think I had New Mexico going to my Sweet 16 or Elite 8. I was fully bought in. They lose first round. And I'm back in on them, baby. Richard Pitino. just for one round, though. For one round. Yeah. I will say, my last little, at least in the first round in the South, which I would say the region I've tinkered with the most. The whole idea of the SEC and how dominant they've been this year, I've kind of went into this thinking like, hey, if I'm on the fence a little and one of them's an SEC team, just pick the SEC team. Nah, man, I'm going Yale over Texas A&M.
This guy,
the nerds.
Talk to me, nerd.
I'm going Yale over Texas A&M.
Talk nerdy to me.
I think what A&M does really well is rebound, and they want to muck it up, and they have lots of scoring droughts and all that. But what they do well is rebound. These nerds can rebound, man, and they can shoot, and they can score. So just off that alone, and I'm sorry, Buzz, I think it's over. I think it's over for you at Texas.
You know how I feel about that.
I know how you feel.
I just changed my pick just because you made that. I don't know why I didn't do that to begin with. It's like looking at the most fraud SEC team in the league, Texas A&M.
Sorry, Dad. The nerds.
Hey, jumping over to the West region real quick. I honestly didn't have much going on here. I did have Colorado State over Memphis. That's a trendy pick. I think we need to give a quick, maybe not total RIPMP, but quick news flash for anybody who's unaware. Maryland's coach did get a job offer sent to him for I texted you about this. Sorry,
Villanova.
For Villanova, which I don't know, man.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, I've hung my Maryland Juan Dixon jersey from the rafters behind me. It's hanging in honor of the Terps. They're not my team, but they're my team of my youth. Come on, man, don't go to Villanova. We got a good thing going here.
You do
in College Park.
I'm
Terps
like
got a good team this year. You got the Crab 5. Terps. I mean, I really actually hate that they're in this region and that they're probably going to, oh, congratulations. Here's Florida, most likely in the Sweet 16. Should they make it that far, which I have them making it that far, but I think they could have made a little noise in a different bracket. But I do have my Terps winning a few. But that's gonna be tough getting to Florida. I do have a sneaky little $4 or $5 wager on the Terps making it to the Final Four. So
little Bobby coin.
Well, okay. Yeah, little Bobby. I'm not gambling a whole bunch on this.
You just want to,
a little something. A little something for my Terps.
Yeah, a little wet the beak. Just a little something.
Yeah, a little something.
The only other big one I had, which kind of pained me a little bit, I did pick Kansas over Conman and his boys from Fayetteville. I did for a split second think I want Cal and Rick to meet up in the second round, and then Rick Pitino just let them have it. It would have been sweet justice.
It would. This little pod down at the I guess if you're looking at the whole bracket, it's the bottom left of this region. Hey, bravo to you matchmakers putting this group together. I mean, Kansas, Arkansas, these two teams have been they have all the talent in the world, both of them, and they have so greatly underachieved this year. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if either team won. It really feels like who's going to lose it more than who's going to win it to me between these two. I've also picked Kansas. What's your boy who's returning for Arkansas? Boogie Fland, is that his name? You know, that's a big name that Arkansas is getting back. That's a lot of talent. Arkansas was 0-5 in the SEC with him before he got hurt, which they all thought was going to be an end of the season injury. So we'll see. But yeah, I picked Kansas. I kind of hope it's Arkansas just so we can see Cal thump his chest and be like, yeah, I did it. And then just get throttled by St. John's. I mean, it's, you know more than me, but there's plenty out there about Cal and Rick Pitino. Ooh, they don't like each other.
No.
No.
They don't care. They don't care one bit. And it doesn't matter what they say behind a microphone.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care.
They're not boys. And I think the Johnnies would absolutely, they're going to, I think, toast whoever comes out of the Kansas Arkansas game. But that's just a fun game. Just all the talent, the coaching. I mean, you've got 3 Hall of Fame coaches in this little pot of 4 teams, and then there's Omaha in there. Shout out Omaha, your first time there. But anywho,
hope Omaha and the boys have fun. Go hit another trash can if you want pregame to get hyped up. East region, about to have a little fun here. You ready for this one? Do you want to go ahead and start off anything that jumped out at you before I lay the hammer?
I don't have anything super crazy in this region. I think I feel very passionate about that. I think I have been burned so many times over the years buying into Arizona hype and just getting them flaming out early, disappointing. I'm not, if they prove me wrong, they prove me wrong. But I'm full-blown Akron Zips over the Arizona Wildcats. Give me the Zips. Give me Oregon. Firmly give me Oregon over the Libs of Liberty. But other than that, I do have VCU beating the Mormons. That's kind of a trendy pick right now. All BYU can really do is shoot threes. Don't play a lot of defense. I really like Wisconsin to go far in this region, which goes to, let me hand it over to you. What do you have to say about this region?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is number 1 of Big Papa's teams that will make it super far into the tournament, going into an Elite 8 matchup with Duke. Give it up for the Montana Grizzlies. Give it up for Monty Williams and Malik Moore. Monty Williams averaging 13 points a game with his boy Malik with 12.8 points per game. These dudes are the real deal. I'm telling you, not only are they going to upset Wisconsin, they are going to burn everybody's brackets up. Find me in the Elite 8 rocking a Grizzlies t-shirt when they fire it up with Duke, which they will.
Okay. So that was great. Great. How much of this love that I'm sure has always existed for Montana, how much does it have to do with the fact that your beloved Colgate is not with us this year?
Yeah, RIP the Colgate Raiders for continuously screwing me over for the last 3 years. And then you still had a
Yeah.
chance to make it 4 years in a row, make it to the tournament.
Mhm.
Couldn't get the job done in conference. So I had to naturally find somebody else to fill the void for me. And Montana made the most sense.
I mean,
Why, you say? To be honest,
clearly.
I don't really have much of a breakdown. I mean, they are 25-9. Did very well in conference play. Won their conference, if I recall correctly. Otherwise, I don't think they would be in it.
I forgot the Vols played them this year. They really, they hung in there with the Vols. They lost 92-57.
Bro, it was probably like what, game 4 of the season?
November 13th.
Yeah. So it's fine. The Grizzbillies have figured it out. Like, they needed to get their check paid. Thank you, Tennessee. Thank you, Deacon, for cutting money for them. They needed to support the program, so now we're fine. That's all I've got in that.
They have the highest field goal percentage out of all NCAA tournament teams. How about that? 50.2% as a team.
Look, I wasn't going to bore you all with numbers. I mean, I appreciate Hoops coming in with the analytical side of it.
I did pick Yale. Shout out the nerds.
Yeah. I mean, Montana's not full of nerds. I'm just telling you, they're full of dudes who know how to scrap. And Wisconsin ain't up for the battle, baby. And you'll find that out. What's today? You'll find out tomorrow when they square up at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Wow. Okay.
All right. That's all I got on my Grizzbillies. Next up in the Midwest region, this is my other team, ladies and gentlemen. Do you need to pop off about anything else in this region, at least? Ooh, I did have one upset in here, other than
I don't feel, at least within the first round or two, I don't really feel like I have anything super shocking. I do have let's see, I don't even know what the score currently is of Texas Xavier. Whoever wins that one, I have them beating Illinois. I don't feel great about Illinois. I think I don't like it. I don't buy it.
Ooh. Texas is up 47-39 over Xavier at halftime. Interesting.
SEC. Yeah, I would pick Texas over Illinois, I think.
Think Rodney Terry gets like a 3-year extension if they win this game?
Dude, they can't. They can't.
Fine with me. Fine with me.
Oh, it's fine with me. No, it's fine with me. They can't do that though.
Deeks.
No, I think what I'm, at least on the top half of the bracket, what I'm most looking forward to is, sorry, Georgia. I don't think it's an 8-9 matchup with Gonzaga. Gonzaga has really started to feel like Gonzaga again down the stretch here. The game's not being played in Athens, Georgia. Therefore, I don't think Georgia has much of a chance at all. That second round matchup, Houston and Gonzaga, is going to be really fun. Gonzaga is going for a record 10 straight Sweet 16s. If they can get past, most likely, Houston in the second round, it's not going to happen. Houston's
tough.
A dang good team.
Tough.
And, we'll talk about the Vols in Kentucky here shortly, I'm sure. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. I'm sure you have something to say here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the second team of Big Papa's NCAA tournament is the McNeese Bayou Bandits, baby. Get up. Find the McNeese Cowboys making it all the way to the Elite Eight, playing the Vols, where Tennessee will inevitably take them down. Now, it doesn't help that Will Wade, word is that he got job offer from North Carolina State. He did not deny the rumors when he was asked about it directly in his press conference when they said, have you been talking to them? He said, yes, with a big old grin, which was like.
Oh, he took the job, didn't he? Wasn't it announced?
Well, Matt Norlander did that thing he always does, which is he's a big, hold on, not yet guy. And it's like, hey, it's done.
Yes, it's done. Will Wade has been biding his time. McNeese was a nice little filler for him.
Yeah.
Can they beat Clemson? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Your coach is openly out the door. Hey, what I would like to see, Will Wade step aside, let your student manage. Let them manage your kid who's literally getting NIL deals.
Yeah.
I've never seen a student manager get NIL deals before. Let him coach. Then I'd be all in on McNeese.
Yeah, I think you actually have such a well-coached team enough that you can put the student manager who is primarily in charge of boombox and whatever's rolling on.
Carries around the boombox.
He does seem like a big Apple Music guy, so I imagine whatever playlist he's rocking on Apple is exactly what all of the fellas want to hear. And let him coach. Those guys know what to do.
Whatever. That's dumb, but whatever.
I actually have them squaring up against High Point in the second round. Got High Point upsetting Purdue.
2 upsets.
Yeah.
I'm chalk both of them, Clemson and Purdue.
That's fair. Yeah, I will say this. I have Kentucky beating Troy, and if you're out there listening, Troy apparently out of probably in the last couple hours has become a super trendy pick also to beat Kentucky. Not necessarily sure, if I'm honest, like why. There was, as one person described it, they're basically a poor man's version of Texas A&M. So, like, sorry, poor man's probably not fair. Just they're a mid-major version of Texas A&M. So,
Sure.
Don't care to scrap, don't care to fight, don't care to injure dudes, potentially on purpose. Buzz. And still not worked up about that at all. And there was a diagram I actually saw online today, and it was a graphic that basically was like, if you're in this upper right-hand quadrant, it's like on ball efficiency and off ball efficiency, essentially just great. And so a bunch of teams are in this top graphic, and then it was different on each other quadrant. Well, bottom left, it was that version except the opposite, which was bad. And you would find Troy right there. And this is Kentucky up here, and here's Troy. So I'm looking at that and just thinking, yeah, you should handle business. Like if you lose to Troy, it's not going to be much different than what it's been the last 3 years. And it really stinks because then it feeds into this like Pope can't get it done.
Pope's not the guy.
Yeah. Kentucky fans are going to get on message board saying, fire Pope. We can't do it. And I'm like, we'll then have to have that conversation about like objectively, he put a roster together in a month and a half. You're on your 4th, 5th string point guard.
Mm-hmm.
And you've heard me talk about it. It's like Travis Perry should not be your starting point guard. He's a freshman. He should be giving spot minutes, 8 to 12, if that. Thankfully, Colin Chandler has started to become something, but he's had to be thrown into the fire because, you've got Jackson's done for the season. Kerr's been done. And when Lamont's hurt, Colin Chandler's kind of one of the only other few guys that can run point. I mean, there's several dudes who can do it. But when you're talking about a natural guy who initiates the offense and gets it rolling, he can, but he's, he was on his mission for 2 years. So I don't think he was like anticipating getting 20 plus starting minutes as a D1 college basketball player. So all that I'm going to say, I got them winning against Troy. I actually have them losing in the second round to Illinois. Ooh. Didn't feel good.
So regarding Kentucky, like what is, I know you have, there's going to be the bozos who are going to, anything less than, I don't know, an Elite 8 run for Kentucky, or maybe even Sweet 16 for Pope is, well, then this season's a failure. Like, what is the realistic good job, Mark Pope?
Yeah.
If X, is it 2 wins?
Yeah, I think
get to the second weekend.
I would have, again, like in context of what we're dealing with, I would have said it's got to be a second weekend. Mm-hmm. If you get to the second weekend, like, great, that's gravy if anything else happens. But I mean, I'm just assuming it, to be honest, between us. I'm assuming Lamont's probably going to get hurt against Troy. He might be.
He's missed time twice this season, right? 3 times?
Three times, but each time it's been like an extended. It's not like you're out that game and then you're fine the next. It's you're out the rest of that game and you're out an additional game or two after that. So I'm just assuming Lamont's going to get hurt. And if he gets hurt, they can still probably handle their business against Troy, but I highly doubt unless they're feeding that dude steroids, which, I mean, who's going to test you? Go ahead and do it. NCAA,
hey, this is March.
Hey, FBI, if you're listening to this isn't. I'm joking, but I'm kind of not joking. Like it's March, you got to do what you got to do. So take the roids, bro. I don't care. It's not.
Yeah,
they're not gonna do a drug test. So I'm not an attorney. Don't take my advice. Yeah, dude. I just don't know like what they can pull off if Lamont legitimately gets hurt and he cannot play within a 48-hour period in the second round. I think most fans, after they crash out for 24 hours, should be able to come back and say, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like it would have been really hard for us to win the second game when, again, we're now back to square four of our fourth string point guard or fifth string. And when you start doing that, you're bleeding into your bench because you've got multiple guys injured and you can't give guys time to catch a breather. So at that point, I don't know what you want to do. Had everybody been healthy, if not, say, just Kerr had only been out, yeah, I would say second weekend minimum. And if anything before that, yeah, I would definitely be crashing out and be like, this is completely unacceptable. So it's dumb. I hate it. I hate it for the sport, hate it for my team because I'm like, usually in the past, I'm always picking them to win the whole thing, even if it's completely blindsided, blue lens tinted fandom. But this one, I'm like, I can't really do the whole thing.
Sure.
It just went, I don't know. It just, I think in reality, it's probably not fair to them, myself, to say like, oh yeah, second weekend minimum. If not, you're a failure. Let's go ahead and put the for sale sign outside of Pope's house. It's like, well, that's dumb. Yeah. There's going to be some of that. Those are the extremists on the outside that you can't.
Yeah.
Like, there is no reality. This just only somewhere up here. Outside of this one, I'm going to be honest. Got the Vols heading to the Final Four. I don't know where you got them, but
my heart says we can win this whole thing. My head says we can go to the Final Four. Like that's pretty, those two things are pretty close to one another. I sit here, especially listening to you talk about how you're having Kentucky go out second round. That's fine by me. I am terrified at the concept of playing Kentucky again in the Sweet 16. I understand the whole concept of it's really hard to beat a team 3 times. Yeah. But, man, both times we've played Kentucky this year have just been the most miserable. Watching Kentucky shoot 50% from 3 and, oh, man. I know we're better. I know we're a better team. I know we should beat them. But I'm terrified at the idea of playing Kentucky a third time in the Sweet 16. That being said, outside of irrational fear there probably, or just trauma, I love this bracket for Tennessee. I love, I think we handle Wofford. I'm not scared of UCLA or Utah State. If it's, Illinois or Texas or Xavier, we've beaten Texas, we've beaten Illinois. If it comes down to us against Houston, we play a similar style ball to Houston. I think we're just as, good as Houston. I think we can beat them. If we got Purdue again, avenging 2 of the worst losses of my fandom, 2019 Sweet 16, last year in the Elite 8. They don't have the ogre anymore. It would be great. I think
Dang, Zach Eady really just catching strays from our
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
Referring to
Oh
as an
man.
ogre.
Oh, the ogre. Yeah, he's gone. The ogre can't hurt me anymore.
Oh,
I think this team, just in thinking of last year's team and thinking of this year's team, I really think we are. Yeah, we don't have Dalton. Dalton's the best player in 25 years. Maybe you could make the case for Chris Lofton.
yeah.
We don't have him. I think we're a better team, though. I think we have, yes, we have our moments with scoring. I think those have been a little fewer and far between this year. I think Zakai's senior. He can figure it out. We have 6, 7 seniors on this team. I just feel really good about us. I feel really good about our chances to at least get back to the Elite Eight, which again has only happened twice in school history.
Yeah.
But
It's there.
Getting there, assuming it's against Houston, that'll be a really tough game. Houston they're really, really good. There's a reason a lot of people are picking them to win it all. But we can beat them, man. I feel it in my gut. Probably that means you're facing. I mean, I don't know if now you want to get into who are our Final Four picks.
Yeah, no, I was going to jump straight into the Final Four, and I was going to say it's going to really suck for Houston when Tennessee's actually going to have to square up with Will Wade and the Bayou Bandits. So, again,
thanks for bringing us back down to earth here.
Could not imagine picking Houston to make it to the Elite Eight when Will Wade's just like, ding dong, hello, nerds. So, dude, I think they're going to be fully focused and locked in. I think it's just because he's straight laced with them and is like, look, it was always going to be 3 years here, or whatever. Like, he's probably already telling them, like, I want you all to come with me.
To be honest, I think Will Wade's a bit of he's a grease ball.
Yeah,
I think he's a grease ball. I think he's just not a big fan of Will Wade.
Sure,
but I will say I respect that. I respect him saying I have if they're gonna buy in and be if they're gonna be real with me, I'm gonna be real with them. I'm not gonna skirt that. So I which kind of seems like only fair that you do that anyway. But
sure.
One last ride with Will Wade and the McNeese boys, Cowboys, right? They're the Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys.
That's right.
Yeah, jumping into
Final Four.
It's pretty much I ended up chalk. I will admit, even on the Final Four, how we got there. A complete mess. Doesn't make any sense. It's total road traffic, crashes everywhere. But we still end up with chalk, essentially. So I've got Auburn and St. John's playing each other, and then Duke and Tennessee.
It would, man, I hope it would be really cool to see St. John's make that run. To finally, after all these years, be back. Patino, that whole thing. I have them falling just short. I've got Michigan State beating Auburn. I think you make the jokes every year, or not even jokes. It's more often than not, it's the real deal. Izzo in March, there's just something about it. This Michigan State team has been awesome this year for in the Big Ten, won the regular season. Just some dogs on that team. They rebound so well, play great defense. Just feel like a classic, rough and gritty Michigan State team. But I do have them losing in the Final Four to Florida. I just don't like. I think Florida has the hardest road to the Final Four of any one seed. I think that region is so difficult, but I just think when Florida's at their best right now, which they seem to be at their best, like I just don't see a hole. I don't see the guard play, the big men, the defense, the ability to come down and just hit a dagger three, and then the next time dunk on your center. Like it's demoralizing to play them right now. So I got Florida beat Michigan State to go to the championship game, and I have, with my heart, my Tennessee Vols over the Duke Blue Devils, which, my gosh, the idea, just saying that out loud feels crazy, just because it's just never happened. But
Could be the move.
Everything about that I say about Florida, you can almost say the same about Duke. If Cooper Flagg is fine, which there seems to be the case, that he's probably either not going to play in their first game or be on like a severe minutes restrict, but he's not in a boot. He was never on crutches. He seems fine for the most part. Like if they're at full strength too, like my gosh, that'll be tough. But I have Tennessee over Florida because dang it, why not?
Because if you've made it that far, then
why not? Go win the whole thing. Why not,
bro?
If totally different. If we can make a Final Four, then we can win it all.
Bro, you're already here. Why not just go win the whole
Just go win the whole damn thing.
Just go win it. I ended up picking the Johnnies over Duke in the Natty.
Ooh, that's fun.
Different. Yeah. Again, like you already talked about, it's the whole we're New York's team. Rick brings you back to life, 20-something plus years where you're like, you guys like were awesome. Everybody loved you, but then all of a sudden it's like, do you all exist anymore in the Big East?
What happened to you? Yeah, you're just gone. Oh, and Patino, they make it to the Final Four. He's going to be rocking the white suit.
Oh.
I can just hear the Sopranos theme playing. Oh, man.
Could you imagine if he did? That'd be 3 titles at 3 different schools.
I mean, what was the thing? Since he won the Big East this year, he's now won 5 different conference championships with 5 different teams.
Yeah. So St. John's, Iona, Louisville, Kentucky,
and Boston.
Boston. That's right. Yeah.
Patino, man.
Dude can coach. He knows ball.
Hey, what, could he come home?
I mean, I wouldn't be upset about it. If he wants to come back to Camelot, I'm not going to say no.
That'd be pretty amazing.
But dude, he'd be so old.
He would be so
He's already old. He's 72, 73. John Fan or somebody made a comment on Field of 68. They're like, yo, he might be able to coach for like 5 more years. And I'm just imagining a Rick Pitino arguably should be in a wheelchair type age of like, should you be coaching or should you just he's got a fire in him.
Everywhere he goes,
like he's a 50-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there was some graphic I saw of where literally wherever he's gone, the team stinks the year before they get him.
Yeah.
They make a solid improvement in year 1, and year 2, they're a top team. Like it's everywhere he's gone. And say what you will about the man's personal choices.
Yeah, those are very questionable.
Yeah, those are very questionable. Man has made a fool of himself at least a time or two. Yeah. But dude, the guy can coach basketball and get kids to buy him. So yeah, I mean, it would be pretty cool to see the Johnnies make a good run. It would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm like, if my team's not going to win it, especially after how this entire year has gone, starting from like Pope being hired, Rick comes home, the whole thing. I'm like, that would be a pretty sweet ending just for that storyline. If you're somebody who likes that kind of thing. So, hey, can I go ahead and make a proposition? If Tennessee makes it to the Final Four, are you and the fellas getting in the car? Hey, I'm telling you this right now, live on air, and Aaron can hold me to it. Dee Dee, she'll get over it. I will help figure out everything else. It's just hey, just pack your bag and get in the car. I will help figure out the rest.
I think there's a world. There's a world. If there's a world where they can get there, I've got family in Texas. I was just there last weekend, but there's a world.
Just saying.
It's never happened before. Once in a lifetime.
That's all. That's the only text I'm going to be saying it.
Yeah.
When that buzzer sounds after an Elite Eight win, immediately get in the car.
We're going.
Start
Antonio.
driving. We'll figure out the rest. So that's just me. But you heard it here. You've got it live on air. If you ever need to go back and somebody has to hit play, be like, hey, you remember when you said that? Be like, I mean it. I meant it.
You know, you're a good friend. I take back everything I've ever said about you.
Damn. Is that a lot, or is that like a little? But
just a few things.
That's fair. I've done enough.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a good hour. We're creeping in later into the night.
Yeah.
I think we should go watch the rest of that Texas Xavier game and see if what time? Ooh, they're creeping back. 52-46, 16 minutes left in the second half. Yeah, it's
horns down.
I think Texas fans really want it to happen too. They want to get rid of Rodney Terry, if we're honest.
Yeah, I think so.
So,
yeah,
dude,
we made it.
We did it. Here we are. Let's have a ball. Let's just have the time of our lives. I hope if you're out there listening to this, whenever you listen to it, I hope you take off work. Just kick your feet up for 4 days and
go to a Buffalo Wild Wings or something.
Yeah, if you got a tin roof, just go to a tin roof, bro.
Yeah,
it was always tin roof.
Scratch that. Go to tin roof.
I don't care if you drive to Nashville. Just go to tin roof, bro.
Don't walk, run to tin roof.
Run, bro. I love that. Hey, I'm Big Papa.
Bobby Hoops.
That's my boy, Bobby Hoops. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys.
See you.